Nishmat Sarah Bat Hana. Ruach Hashem Tenicheh Began Eden. Tonight, it's Monday night. We're out of our. It's really Tuesday according to the Jewish date. Palmayim Kitov, and I was asked to change the shiur date to tonight from a good friend of mine. And may our shiur be Latzlachat Kol HaRavakim, all the single people, and Kol HaArusim, all the engaged people. Wifrat Gabriel Chai ben Reuven V'Leah, Ariel ben Miriam, and all the Ravakim. May Hashem bless them that they should get married successfully this year. Big new Beit Noam B'Yisrael, because the first mitzvah in the Torah is to get married. And the one thing everyone craves in this world is to find somebody to share their life with. That's the one thing every human being craves for. It's an innate craving. That's why the biggest yetzer hara that a human being has is for the opposite gender. If a man is for a woman, for a woman is for a man. It's not inconceivable that a man or a woman, even that a woman will want the opposite gender too. We think no, it's not. It's different. It's not true. In fact, the Torah says for them it's more, because the curse, Adam was cursed by Hashem when he ate from the Etz HaDaat. Anything you're going to work, you're not going to see bracha. You're not going to see bracha. Now we have to understand, what does that mean? He's not going to see bracha because back then was the beginning of the world. There's midrashim that say they used to put a seed inside the ground. They used to bring forth tons of produce. So what does it mean that by Adam it says that anything he puts into the ground is going to come out thorns? I say thorns in Russian. Kaluchki? It's a funny word. Okay. It means that he doesn't see blessing from his work. Like a person makes money. End of the month comes, so where's all my money? I just made 10,000 this month. Where'd it go? It doesn't make sense. All the money, holech, that's the curse. You don't see bracha from you see thorns. It hurts, you're working, you're making money, you have clients, everything's going good, but no bracha. No bracha. On the other hand, the female, Chava, was cursed. One of the curses she got from Hashem. It wasn't a curse that Hashem cursed her, chas v'shalom. It's a curse that it was a result of her giving Adam to eat from the Etz HaDaat, the tree of knowledge, whatever that means. We know that according to the Kabbalah, according to Rabbi Shimon Agassi and Shara Gilgulim, that it doesn't really mean they ate from an actual tree. They were in a higher plane of existence. It really means that they were together before Shabbat came in. They were together during the day. Ben Hashem Ashot, really. In twilight. Which in itself was a very big sin. At their level of existence, they were not supposed to be together. That's considered Etz HaDaat. How do we know that? It says in the Torah, Adam yada et Chava ishto. Adam knew his wife. In the Torah, there is no word for the intimate act. You know how we call it? Da'at. Knowing one another. Today, that's how you know we're in the generation where everything is hafuch al hafuch. That's why we don't enjoy Purim. I was thinking about this in Purim while we were enjoying ourselves over here. And I was thinking of this and I was saying, this is why we don't enjoy Purim in our generation. Because Adam, his whole tikkun was to know his wife. That means when you get married, when you find your soulmate, what does that mean? You know this is the one. Today, the actual intimate act has become what? The opposite of knowing. It's become a casual act. I know her today, I know somebody else tomorrow. In the morning I wake up, there is a walk of shame. That's what the Americans call it, the walk of shame. The people who wake up the next morning after Saturday night, they walk the walk of shame home. You know what that means? Like they woke up and they were with somebody they didn't know, Lo Aleinu, Lo Alam Yisrael, and they had to walk home with busha. Like they feel busha. There's no busha. The more notches you have on your belt, the more happier, the more you can boast, the more you give ga'ava to your friends. Lo Aleinu. And that's why v'nafochu, double v'nafochu, double opposite. So we get back to the beginning. Where what are we all looking for in our life in the last generation? A real intimate relationship. Because that's the one thing that the Satan totally destroyed in our generation. He totally destroyed that. The one thing, and we have Torah in our generation, Gabriel. Lots of it. Ben Porat Yosef. Ben Porat, I mean, who am I to say that enough? We have a lot of Torah. I mean, they say Rabbi Akiva, we were saying about it on Sunday night. Rabbi Akiva had, according to one girsa, he had 24 zugot. Pairs. 24 pairs. That means 48,000 Talmidim. According to another girsa, he had 24,000 students. I mean, 12,000 zugot. Today, you go to the Mir Yeshiva. Mir Yeshiva itself has 50,000 students. Unfortunately, that's the issue. Quality versus quantity. We have a lot of quantity in our generation. We have no quality. Could you imagine so many Talmidei Chachamim? We can't produce one Arya Kadosh. One!
Well, back in generation, there was also one.
Actually, you're wrong. There was Arya Kadosh, but don't forget who was living in his generation. Rav Yosef Karo, the Raya of the Shulchan Aruch, Rav Lapidot Ashkenazi used to see the future. There's many things you don't know. Rambam, Ben Porat Yosef. The Rambam was before him. And you know who was living the generation of the Ari? The Ramak. He was one person in his generation that had a pillar of fire on top of his bed when he buried him, on top of where they carried him. That was the kind of people that live in the Ari's generation, Rabbi Gabriel. So quality, I believe they had, but quantity was scarce, unfortunately, because there was a lot of Amei Artzim. A lot. Today, Ben Porat Yosef, we have yeshivot. We have people fighting to send your kids to yeshiva. They'll help you in putting the interests to the side. No, but there's still, you can't put that, you can't say that it means nothing. Chas v'shalom. And we have the words of the Ariya Kadosh to the Rabbi Chaim Vital. What did he say? One good deed in the last generation equals thousands of deeds in the previous generations. Because the Satan in our generation, he's very tough. How do you say tough in Russian? Give me a tough word. The word tough. No, say it. Come on, tough.
Give me many words. Тяжелый, такой.
I like that word. Say it again.
It's not really tough.
Okay, I'm not gonna say it. Forget.
Don't worry about Russian.
Sach. Yeah. That's Bukharian though. I was looking for the Ruski. It's a joke between me and Governor. This one, not you. Rabbi said, we're in a very special generation, and I was thinking what to say tonight. We have a lot of issues, and like I said, I started the shiur with Adam and Chava. What's the curses for Adam, Chava? And I've come to the small conclusion. It's not really my conclusion. I had a dream 2 nights ago. I was in my dream. I was in Tveria, the coastal city of Tveria, And I go into Tveria, and we know in Tveria is buried the graves of the number one student of the Maggid Memezrich, Harav Menachem Mendel Mevitebsk. Thank you. He was supposed to be actually the leader after the Maggid passed away, but he went to Israel, and that's when the split happened. The Tzemach Tzedek is actually named after him. And in my dream, I go to the coastal city. I'm in Tveria, and when I go inside the graveyard, I see the grave of the Baal Shem Tov and the Rebbe Mizedichov, also one very big student of Baal Shem Tov. And I say to myself in my dream, I said, these people are not supposed to be buried over here. Actually, these two are supposed to be buried in Ukraine. Rav Nachum Mendel Mevitebsk is supposed to be buried over here. And I go deeper inside the cave, and I see a grave of Mar Ukva. He was a student of Mor Shmuel. If you guys remember, a very long time ago, I gave a speech about Shmuel. He was the Bar Plukta of Rav. He was a very big Amora. He was actually the student of Rabbi Yehuda Anasi. He was called Shmuel Yarchina'ah. He was a great astronomer, physician, and halachist. Forget about it. All monetary halachot follow Shmuel. So his student was Mar Ukva. And I come to his grave in my dream and I see, it doesn't say Mar Ukva, it says Mar Ukvan. With a nun. And it's not supposed to be Ukvan, it's supposed to be Mar Ukva. Whatever happens, I wake up. The next morning, I'm running after my kid. And I almost break my pinky on my wife's bed. And the foot, the lower part, in Hebrew is called Ukva. Ekev. Ekev. And all day I was wondering, why did it say Ukva? You know, in the dream they always send you a small, they send it to you in a remez. You have no idea what the remez means.
Sign.
The sign. You have no idea what the sign actually means. You think you're dreaming that you're praying at the graves of Tzadikim, and they're basically telling you tomorrow you're going to have 3 days of excruciating pain that you're going to be limping. And I said to myself, why did this happen to me? Because on Motzei Shabbat, I said, from now on, Bli Neder, I'm going to say the stories of the Baal Shem Tov. And I asked myself a deep question, and I sent a story, a very deep story, and I'm going to say it again tonight. I said to myself, if I want to learn the Torah of the Baal Shem Tov, whose Torah do I open up? I want to know what the Baal Shem Tov taught. Who do I open up? And there's only one answer. The first Rebbe of Chabad. The Alter Rebbe. Rav Shneur Zalman Miladi. When he was in jail by the Russian, let's call him the Gestapo, because it's actually a compliment to call him the Gestapo. When he was in jail by the Russian Gestapo, the Baal Shem Tov and the Maggid Memezrich, who was his main student, came to him and he said, who is this? He said, the Maggid says, this is your Torah. This is your continuation. And when I was by one Hasidic Rebbe, he said, the Torah of the Baal Tanya is the Torah of the Baal Shem Tov. It's the true avodah. And I have a book called Avodat HaLeviim, who explains the avodah of the Tanya, which is a phenomenal sefer. And today, when my good friend Gabriel Chai over here said that he wanted me to give a shiur, I said, this is my Avodat HaLeviim day, usually. And I can't be mevatel, I can't nullify a day of my Avodat HaLeviim. I said, I'm going to give you a shiur in the Baal Tanya. I'm going to give you one of my favorite chapters. Why is this my favorite chapter? Because when I went for the first time in my life to pray by the grave of the Baal Tanya, the first Rebbe of Chabad, you were there with us, Rabbi Michael, and I opened the book for the first time in the Baal Tanya. This was the chapter that came out. Chapter 28, which is Koach. Of course. Who could forget? But to give you an explanation, why am I talking about this chapter? First I have to explain you, and this has to do with Adam HaRishon and Chava, why I started off with this. was the beginning of the pagam of all Jewish people, and this is the. If you fix this, you are on the level of the tzaddik. You are on the way, to the level of the tzaddik. When we have two main names of Hashem, Aleph, Dalet, Nun, and Yud. Okay? Aleph, Dalet, Nun, and Yud. Ammonai. Correct? Then we have Yud, K, Vav, K. Correct or incorrect? When Cain killed Hevel, the Zohar says, he took away the Yud from the name of God. He made it K, Vav, K. Which is a huge pagam. It's almost tantamount to the pagam of Amalek, which is the worst. But for some reason, the Zohar says, when God told Cain, where is your brother Hevel? Which is such an excruciating sentence in the Torah. It's an excruciating sentence. Could you imagine God coming to you after a person kills his brother and says, where is your brother? And he tells him back, am I my brother's keeper? And Hashem uses the word a. Not efo. Well, how do you say where in Hebrew? Efo, where? He says a. It's like slang. Where is your brother Hevel? So the Zohar says he was telling Cain that the pagam in my names, the blemish that you did in my names, was in the Aleph of Ammonai, and in the Yud of Havaya. What do you get? A. Did you guys get that? That becomes A. It's not Efo anymore. It's only A. He said, A hevel achicha. If you take the Aleph out of the Dalet Nun Yud, what do you get? Din. So, what you caused in your life was really whose fault? Your own. You wanted judgment. You got judgment. That's why he said, Ei hevel achicha. You took the Aleph from Ammonai and the Yud from Havaya, and what did you get? Din. Now the Tikkunei Zohar says, who was the one who took the Yud? And who was the one who took the Aleph? Cain's sin was killing his brother. So he took the Yud. Cain took the Yud out. It was a worse pagam. Or so we think. Hevel's pagam was that he took the Aleph out of Ammonai. Why is that a worse pagam? Why is that a worse blemish? Because you actually see the judgment. What was Hevel's problem? What was Cain's issue? Cain's issue was jealousy. Kin'ah. Kin'ah. Kin'ah is 151. You dip inside the mikveh. Every time you feel jealous of another human being, Baruch Hashem, we have the Lubavitcher mikveh open in 227 not Francis Lewis. It's Francis Lewis. Yes. Francis Lewis Boulevard. You go one time, you're gonna see your jealousy went away. Really? Yeah. Mikveh is a pure antidote to jealousy. Because when you're inside your mother's womb, you're full. You're nourished. You have no jealousy of anything. But Hevel's pegam was deeper, because an Aleph is really a Yud, a Vav, and another Yud. That's 26. That's God's name. What was Hevel's pegam? In the mind. He looked at God's presence as the fire was coming down. And you're not allowed to do that. Hevel had hirhurim ra'im. And that's the job of the Benoni. Hevel had a problem with bad thoughts. Because when he looked at Hashem, he looked at Hashem's presence. Whatever he saw, we don't know. If he could even perceive what he saw. You know what was his issue? He perceived it as something materialistic. And you cannot perceive God as being materialistic even in the smallest spark, Gabriel. And that in some way was worse than what Cain did when killing his brother. So God allowed Cain to kill his brother. He took away his hashgacha from him. Now let's jump about maybe 2,300 years ahead. We have the hero of the Jewish people. Who is he? Not Gabriel HaMalach, but Moshe Rabbeinu. He's our hero. Why do you say he's our hero? 1 second late, you would still be living in Egypt, speaking Arabic. Moshe, he's by the burning bush in Saudi Arabia. The fire, the bush is burning. Is it burning in real life? Or is it burning in his head?
Hallucinations.
Is it a hallucination?
Spiritual burning.
The Gemara says, Ein mikra yotze midei pshuto. The pasuk never leaves its literal meaning. The bush, it's burning, and it's really not burning. He's looking at the bush. It's a thorn bush. A thorn bush. Remember what we said about Adam? He's planting, and what's coming out? Thorns.
So it looks like a wine, right?
You would think that it's in his head. But the Gemara says no. The pasuk never says what's in the head. It says what he really sees. It's mamash happening. And the pasuk says, I'm going to tell you guys a secret of secrets. If you guys comprehend this secret, you guys will have a Pesach like you never had a Pesach before in your life. Thank you for asking. It says, Vayar Hashem, and God saw, Kisar lirot. Moshe sees the bush, and what does he do right away?
Covered his face.
He covers his face. Sar, in Hebrew, equals 260. How much is the name of God? 26. How many sfirot are there? 10. 10 times 26 equals how much? 260. The Ari HaKadosh says in Shar Kavanot Drushe Mitzrayim that Moshe Rabbeinu was fighting with God 7 days and 7 nights. Now we all have this illusion that we think that he's fighting God. I want to go redeem the Jews, and what is he saying?
No.
I don't want to redeem the Jews.
So,
That wasn't the issue. Are you listening or no? Because I feel you're muttering under your breath. No, that wasn't the issue. Even though he was born in the month of Adar, that wasn't the issue. You're also born in the month of Adar, right? Okay. Yeah, that wasn't the issue. Do you know what the issue was? I'm going to tell you something right now, Gabriel. If you're going to realize this, you're going to have a nice Dvar Torah on the Pesach night. Moshe and Hashem had a small argument that took 7 days. There is another name of God that also has Aleph Yud inside it. Remember Cain and Hevel, they had a Pagam and Aleph Yud? There's another name of God that has Aleph Yud inside of it. They have both names inside of it. What are they? Ekye. Aleph K. What did God say? What's your name? Hashem said. Who's talking to me? And what levush, in what combination are you talking to me? Because Ekye, Asher, Ekye. You know when we do Rabbi Yosef Dayan's Tikkun over here, what do we always say? Ekye, Asher, yes, Lifanecha Hashem Agadol, Ekye, Asher, Ekye, right? We say that? Hashem says, I'm not talking to you from Yudke Vavke. I'm not talking to you from Amonai. I'm talking to you from Ekye. What do we have here? Aleph, Yud. Cain and Hevel was Pogem over there. But they were also had a blemish in this name too. Let's fix this one first. How many Sfirot are there? 10. This name equals 21. 21 times 10 is how much? 210. How many years the Jews were in Mitzrayim for? 210 years. Moshe said it's not time for them to come out. That's what they were arguing for.
He's saying to the God.
Moshe, but why was Moshe arguing with Hashem? Moshe said, if we're gonna let them out at the end of 210 years, they're gonna go back into the exile. And when they're gonna go back into the last one, they're gonna stay there for a very long time. Hashem said, it's none of your business. Mamash. But Moshe said 50 more years. You can't wait for the 260. If you fix the 260, the Yudke Vavke that Cain did, they'll never go back into Galut. Hashem said, I'm not waiting. Take him down right now. Moshe said, I don't want to. I don't want to be the agent that makes them come out earlier and brings them back in. Why? Moshe didn't want to come back in a Gilgul. You hear me? Moshe knew if he takes them out of 210 years, what happens? He's not going to go inside Eretz Yisrael. And that means he doesn't fulfill all the mitzvot. And that means he has to come back. Hashem said, Kach Allah b'machshava. Where did it go up to? The machshava. Where was Hevel's sin? In the machshava. Who's Moshe the Gilgul of? Hevel. Rabotai, we're nearing Pesach. This is just a small introduction. Really, this shiur has to be into about 4 or 5 pieces. Into what is the pagam, the blemish that a person does when he thinks bad thoughts. However, I'm here to give you guys a key. A remedy. That's the Tanya. This book was made in the year 5750. It's the year that I was born. Oh, look at that. 57. Tavshin, and I was born in this year. I heard that this book was actually one of the books that Lubavitcher Rebbe actually gave out in one of his Farbrengens.
40th year of his Nisiut.
In his 40th year of his Nisiut. 1989, right?
1989, don't think.
Yeah, I was born that year.
Same year.
I'm joking. I know. Rabotai, the pagam that's the father of all pagams is the pagam and the machshava. What separates tzaddikim and benonim is the pagam and machshava. Why? I'm going to tell you what the Alter Rebbe, the first Rebbe of Chabad, which is really the continuation of the Baal Shem Tov, said in a couple of words in the beginning of chapter 28. I'm going to tell you to outside. I'm going to read it inside. There are two kinds of tzaddikim. One of them is Nachum Ish Gamzu. You guys know him? Nachum Ish Gamzu. And one of them is Rabbi Akiva. What's the difference? Who's Rebbe? Nachum Ish Gamzu is actually Rabbi Akiva's Rebbe. Nachum Ish Gamzu used to say on everything that happened to him, Gamzu l'tova. Kol hakavod. I call this the Bukharian saying, Gamzu le-tova. 108th Street. That's the Gematria, 108. Also Gematria of Gehinnom, Emet. What does that mean? I see something. It seems totally bad. They stole his jewels. He was supposed to go to the emperor with the jewels to bribe the emperor. Everything was full of sand. He didn't even flinch. He didn't even flinch. It's good. No doubt in my mind, Daniel. It's a good thing. You know what that means? I look at the situation and I know that this is the best possible situation. There is a second midah. These are both midot of tzaddikim. That's the student of Nachum Ish Gamzu. That's Rabbi Akiva's midah. What is that called? Kol ma da'avid rachmana letav avid. What's that midah? I don't see the good right now, but I know it's there. In the future, it's going to be good. What happened to Rabbi Akiva? He had a donkey, he had a rooster, he had a lantern, and nobody gave him to stay in their house in the city. In the night, a lion comes, eats the donkey. The wind comes, takes out the light. A little cat comes, eats the rooster. So what did Rabbi Akiva say? He didn't know. It's called Ma David Rahmana. Let's have, okay, everything Hashem does is for the best, but in the future.
I don't see it now.
In the night comes a bunch of Roman bandits, plunders the whole town. Rabbi Akiva says, thank God the lion came and ate my donkey. Thank God the cat came and ate my rooster. And thank God there was a small tornado. Took out the lantern. What's the difference between the two midot? What's the difference? One of them I see the good now. That's Nachum Ish Gamzu, that's his Rebbe. One of them I believe it's gonna be good, but I don't see the good right now. These are two midot of tzaddikim. This is not our midah. Don't even aspire to that.
Why not?
Because you're not a tzaddik.
You should aspire to it.
You should aspire to it. And when you get to there, let me know.
But we're not there yet.
Then there is the midah of the Benon. The midah of the Benoni, let's call him the middleman, not the Rasha. He doesn't have bad thoughts. He doesn't have bad thoughts outside prayer and Torah. That means when he prays, that means when he doesn't, when he's working, when he's outside, when he's doing what he's supposed to do, the Yetzer Hara doesn't bother him. When does the Yetzer Hara bother his thought process? When? When he's praying. Suddenly all the shtuyot that he saw, all the bad things that he saw. I remember for a very long time, there was this one video that they were sending on Facebook where they said that there were three guys. One of them was a drunk and he had heroin and he had this and that. One of them was thrown out of college, this and that. And one of them was a vegetarian, this and that, nice guy. Could you guess who is who? And the two really bad guys was Winston Churchill and Franklin Roosevelt. And the very nice guy, the vegetarian that never smoked, was Yamach Shemo V'Zichro, Shem Rashayim Yirkav. And I saw a picture of that guy with the mustache, with the, I don't know, called the mini stash, it's called. Every time I used to say Kabbalat Shabbat, Boi Kala, that image used to pop up to my head. I could never get rid of it. I can't. It would just come to my head. And no, I would say again, no matter how much I would try to conquer it, I couldn't. The Yetzi.
And the guy wanted to do Kabbalah.
That's not the midah of a tzaddik. That's the midah of a benoni, the middleman. The tzaddik, when he gets that kind of thought, he fixes it. He fixes it. Because it doesn't come from him. You know where it comes from? The people that are connected to him. The tzaddik has to fix it. You understand what I'm saying? Here's the tzaddik, and he has souls connected to him. He doesn't have bad thoughts. Moshe Rabbeinu has no bad thoughts. Where does he get his bad thoughts from? From the small guys. So when he gets them, what does he do? He sees them. He separates the good from the bad. He sweetens it and he brings it back up. We cannot do that. When you have a bad thought in tefillah, you know why your tefillah doesn't go up? You're praying, you have a bad thought. You know what you say to yourself? Let me just finish. Let's just get it over with. Oh, you think you're a tzaddik? You're not a tzaddik, says the Tanya. You're a benoni. And even that, if you're going to take the benoni, you know what I would say? Chuda v'shkur. That's what I would say. The benoni is the tzaddik of our generation, I think. The Balatanya says, you cannot fix the bad thought. Gabriel, I haven't looked at you for a while. You can't fix the bad thought. You know what you do when the bad thought comes to you? No, you don't push it. Don't touch him. Pretend he's not there. That's the secret. Hashem said to Cain, where is your brother? A is what? That's the machshava, the first letters of God's names. The machshava, where is your brother? You know what Cain start to say? Oh, I don't know, I'm not his keeper, I don't know what it... Gung show. When God speaks, don't say anything. Just keep on going. Just keep on going. In fact, just the opposite. Do more kavanot. In fact, just the opposite. Try to feel more Hashem. But how? I just thought of the worst thing I ever saw in my life. And this is such a big musar for our generation. If our generation learns these... Of course, I cannot teach you guys these 3 prakim on one leg. I can't do that. Chapter 26, 27, 28 in Tanya. If you guys learn these 3 prakim, your tefillot have only one address. Shamayim. You have to know when you have bad thoughts in your tefillah, it's only for one reason. Because you're a good guy. So whenever you have 2 parts to your soul, neshama elakit and neshama behemit. You have the godly soul, and you have the animalistic soul inside of you. Whenever the godly soul goes up, what also goes up? The animalistic soul. So you start to think about Hashem. Who pops up? Yemach Shemo, the Nazi. It's not because you're a bad guy. It's because you're working. It's actually the sign that you're doing good. That's what the Tanya is trying to say here. So when you have bad thoughts, if you want to fix the sin of Hevel, and why am I saying this? Od hayom benov la'amod. It has to do with Purim. Until the sin of Hevel is not fixed, Mashiach won't come. What's that sin? Lo taturu acharei levavchem v'acharei einechem zonim achareihem mishmata mikol davar ra. Our thought process, the Jews' thought process, it's not a butterfly effect. It's a universal effect. You have the ability to affect the world, says the Tanya. When you're in tefillah, and you don't know who you are, you don't know your shorsh neshama, but when you're in tefillah and you have bad thoughts coming to you, that's a good sign, not a bad sign. You should never feel bad in your tefillah that you have bad thoughts. You should feel good. It means that your godly soul is working. Do you know who has to fix the bad thoughts? Not you. The tzaddikim. Who's a tzaddik? A guy who turned his Yetzer Hara into Yetzer Hatov. That's David HaMelech, Moshe Rabbeinu, Kisar Lirot, 10 Sfirot of 26. Let's... I don't even know if I'm a Benoni, I'll tell you the truth. I read this, I don't even know if we're Benonim, but I hope we're Benonim. But, if you want your tefillot to be, in all seriousness, if you want your tefillot to be mitkabel, chapter 27, 28 over here is very important. You have to understand that when bad thoughts in tefillah is a good thing. But only if you don't pay attention to them. If you're going to pay attention to them, your tefillah went. But if they come and you say, like a person's by your ear and keeps on asking, when you're... It happens to me when I'm praying at home, unfortunately, and my kids, like today, was tugging on my tzitzit. He's saying in Gan, they teach him how to say the bracha of tzitzit. And he's tugging at my tzitzit. He keeps on saying the bracha, and I can't concentrate. And he's tugging and tugging and tugging and tugging and tugging. You know what you have to say to yourself? It's just not there. It's just not there.
No, just say to yourself that he wants to put one on. He's ready.
Yeah, he's right. Yeah, he does, but he still tugs.
Of course, but keep positive.
It's just not there. And the human brain has the ability to do that. And the Jewish brain could go higher than that. And that's how we fix the sin of Hevel and come closer to the Geulah. Baruch Adonai le'olam. Amen ve'amen. We have